So, let's try this for a third time. I'm going to try to explain how to take a model from Unreal Tournament and bring it into Unreal and use it for something. This isn't going to be really involved because I've tried to do this tutorial 3 times and I've had nothing but problems because I keep getting caught up on files that I'm not supposed to be opening. But here's tools you'll need. You need umodel GUI, you'll need umodel. It'll come with this DLL. You don't actually need this tool at all because we're not doing that. And you just open up umodel here, browse to your game folder. I have like 1,000 games in here, don't worry about that, it's insane. You normally would pick your system folder, but since I have everything in a really bizarre way organized for no reason, we're going to pick one of mine. I think this is a good gun. I don't really remember, so we're just going to pick that folder. You just expand it over here, and here's your file. This could be any .u file. You just double click it, and there's your weapon that's in the package. It doesn't have any animation, so this is an actual really horrible gun to use as a test. There's your HUD icon because this is UT. There's one fire animation that isn't really a fire animation. That's so lame. Anyway, this is going to be the model we use for no reason. This is a really, really bad example. And there you go, your model was exported somewhere. See these are, we'll get into that in a minute. So, wherever your model is installed is where the file just got exported. You got some texture files here that are all in TGA format, so that's great. Except it isn't. There's your mesh. These are vertex meshes. Vertex meshes they're in 3D format. PSK would be, and PSA would be skeletal, which is probably way more important to know about than vertex meshes, because vertex meshes are obsolete and are very easy to export and import, but I guess we'll just start here. Why not? These are your pickup meshes. This is the animation. This is the animation data. First, you're going to want to use a program that I didn't mention yet, called InfraView. You don't need to use this program, but it just makes life easy. This has a batch conversion. Again, you don't really need to do this because unless you have a lot of stuff to convert. This is just easier for me to do. I'm just going to go ahead and just open up the folder just because this needs to get done anyway. If I can just remember what I'm doing. There's your texture folder. You don't need to necessarily do this the same way I'm doing it. Oh crap. Yeah. Crap. There's your model, not the models, your textures. These are just like skins for the weapon. If you use this, you're going to want to use batch conversion. You're going to want to select BMP, and you're going to want to go to advanced. You got to select 256 colors because Unreal don't support any more than that. And that's pretty much all you want to do here. The images have to be powers of 2, but since they're from Unreal Tournament, you don't even have to worry about that. You're just going to want to start batch, and as you can see, it converted some files from TGA to. You can do this with your favorite image editing program. You don't have to use this, but this is a free tool and it's real easy to use. And here you go. You got your. You can just delete these because now they're useless. There's your HUD icon. There's your crosshair. There's one of your nice looking weapon skins that really looks horrendous because it's garbage. And the hands there. And they're just all kind of the same texture, sort of, but not really. Now that we have that, that's great. Your vertex meshes here. Something I didn't mention that's going to be lots of fun is, in order to import any model into Unreal Engine, you need to have import lines. So, the engine has to know what to do, what it's supposed to be doing, at least. So, I'm going to have to get those import lines somehow. There's some ways that I didn't explain, like for instance, using BotPack and a vertex mesh exporter. You just commandlet, you can generate the exports from the mesh. If, for instance, you don't have them or they've been stripped from the mod, which is always a possibility. This This is what I used, right? Yeah. This is your .u file. I'm a lot more fluent than other people are, so this is just Notepad++. I don't recommend doing this unless you're really, really good at what you're doing. But you can scroll through here. You can do this in the editor. It's actually like 10 times easier to do this in the editor than it is to do it the way I'm doing it right now. But this is just the way I prefer to do it because I'm elite. As you can see here, that's not what we need. There we go. Well, we have a problem here, of course, naturally. This is projectile. There we go. This is what you need. You have a class in here. You probably should just export the code. If you're going to use ut99, it's probably beneficial to you just to actually export all the code. Something like utpt. It'd probably be way easier than what I'm explaining you to do, because in many cases you can't get this code. It's unavailable. It's been stripped out of the file. But as you can see, this is just a rifle, and it expands tournament weapon. How the fuck does that happen? I don't know. But what's happening here is you got a scope import, you got your texture lines. This is what's telling the engine what to do. This is not an active line, but over here we're importing the model, the animation file, and over here we're importing the data file. And of course we're flipping it around somewhere, but that's not really a big deal. Animations in Unreal are all about sequences. So basically you have a model that has, say, 200 frames in it. Each frame is a part of the animation. And when you want the weapon to do a specific thing, like say firing, you just say, oh, play from, like, say, 5 to 8, 4 here. So this starts at frame number 5 and plays the next 5 frames of the animation at the rate of 8 frames a second, or, well, that's going to be told by another thingy. So that's kind of, this is a bad example because this mesh really isn't animated. And for meshes that aren't animated, you can do things like this, which is still frame all, so that the engine doesn't go completely crazy. Anyway, let's take these lines. All we need is these import ones. It doesn't matter for the rest of this right this second, but we'll worry about that later. Yeah, the sound. We didn't do the sound, but I'm not worried about the sound right now. That's for some other tutorial that I'm not going to try to do. Now comes the fun part. You got to learn how to use UCC. See how this runs. Yeah, I'm using Steam. Deal with it. I have 100 installs, but this is where my actual files are. So here we are in the unrealgold folder. You're going to want to create a folder. You're going to call it whatever the hell you want to call it. Rock Rifle. It's not really a rock rifle, but we're going to call it rock rifle because that makes it easy for me to type it. There's rock rifle. Now in this folder, you need to put a folder called classes. It doesn't have to be capitalized, but I capitalized it because my mind wants to capitalize it. And here you're going to want to create a new text document. It's going to be called, it doesn't matter what it's called actually, rock rifle .uc. It has to be .uc. Take the .text extension off and throw it in the garbage. Look, I can edit it with Notepad. Take that shit you just copied and then do this. Well, kind of. So what we're going to do is your new class, Rock Rifle, is going to expand the Unreal Rifle. That's what this means up here. Your models aren't in the exact same folder that it's expecting them in. Actually, there are no models. Train wreck alert. When I do this stuff, I prefer just to fucking take everything and put it in one big folder. It's a mess, and it's really not the way you should do it, but it just makes it easier to see where things are missing. Stuff like that. So we don't need that anymore. We copy all those files. We wrote up one into our folder here. You could have it in separate folders, but we're not doing that because, yeah. Now you're going to want to edit this down so it points to the root class. Probably jerk around with these a little bit since we use bitmap and not PMP. Really not that hard once you just figure out how to do this and just make it all work. It all depends. This path here is dependent against this class, because this is the class that this will be running in. So you're going to want to just do that. Just take all these paths out because we're putting everything in root. If you want it organized properly, then just set these paths accordingly. It is what it is. I don't really care. These are probably all correct. I'm looking over this briefly. That should be just fine. Another thing you're going to want to do, I didn't really talk about, should have, is you might as well just go get UTPT after all. Because, you got to do something I forgot about. There's a number of ways to do this, but the easiest way to do this is, actually, you know what, I don't even think you need to do this. You don't need to do this, forget it. There's your file. This is all you need to just pull in a model into the game. You want to save that. You're going to want another tool called umake. You don't need this. It makes your life exponentially easier. There we go. You just tell this thing the folder that your project path's in. This is going to make life so much easier than trying to use the command prompt. If only this didn't put this shit 26 paths deep. Hey look, there's our class. You just click rock rifle and it says yay. Now this is going to give you a dialog here where you have to check dependencies. If you have dependencies that are required, add them. Normally you shouldn't need to fucking touch anything here. And this might be important later on, but it's not really important right now. Just hit build, open up details like this, and just let it compile. It's going to take not that long. It just has to pull in the assets. And we have lots of broken stuff. What a great example to me to explain to you how to fix something. Now, technically this compiled correctly, but it's completely fucked. JSniper1 is wrong. Yucky. Okay, let's look at this and see what happened. I think the model actually imported just fine, but this bitmap failed.